Present, defendant, defense counsel are present. Good morning, Mr. Smith. Nice to see you. Anything we need to take up before we bring the jury back in?
No.
All right, you can bring the jury in. And the witness, is she, and Ms. Burge?
Right.
Okay. You better be careful. That strap almost got your foot when you got up.
And if anybody's gonna do it,
Mm-hmm.
I've done it before.
Well, it would be me too. That's why I'm aware of those things and I saw it.
One time I stuck my foot in the plug plate.
Uh-huh.
And it just crashed in front of everybody.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, the air's working in here, just not back there. Good morning. Thank y'all for your patience this morning. Deputy Millhouse has been running around waiting for someone, and we appreciate our extra coming in and helping at the last minute this morning. So we can get started. You can, if you'll get the witness and Ms. Burge back in, please, sir. Thank you. Good morning. Ms. Malfino, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning. You testified to quite a bit yesterday.
Yes.
And do you feel confident in all of that testimony?
Yes.
And today is just a continuation of that.
Yes.
I want to take a couple of steps back and ask you a few questions before we go on to where we left off yesterday. Had everything that you described, the harassment, the annoyance, the tormenting, the attempts to embarrass you, humiliate you, alarm you, and place you in fear, were those things that were continuous?
Always.
And did they escalate?
More and more.
Did the threats escalate?
There were always threats, but it just became more.
You testified that Mr. Ibarra threatened to burn your house down
Yes, a few times.
a few times. Was that on more than one occasion?
A few times.
Did he use That specific language, is that how he liked to talk to you? I'm gonna burn your house down.
Voy a quemar la casa.
¿Con quién está?
With whoever's inside, it doesn't matter.
You,
Usted, con usted. Yes.
your children,
Sus hijos. Yes.
anybody in your family.
Y cualquier persona de su familia. Yes.
Did he have any regard for
Tenía al Señor
anybody in your family?
un sentimiento por alguien de su familia.
No.
No.
Did he threaten to kill you multiple
Él
times?
amenazó con matarla varias veces. Yes.
Explain.
Explíqueme.
Siempre que se enojaban,
Every time that he would get upset,
se me amenazaba que me
he would
mataban.
threaten me that he was going to kill me.
A mí, con quien yo estuviera.
Me,
Siempre.
myself, and whoever else I was with.
Después del divorcio por más. porque
After we
estaba
got a divorce,
siempre.
it only became worse. He was always following me.
Did he threaten to blow your head off on more than one occasion?
Como más ocasiones.
Más personas.
More occasions.
More than one, many times.
Muchas veces. Como más ocasiones.
Más de una.
More than one.
Was that how he liked to talk to you and
Y era
threaten
como el
you?
Señor le gustaba hablarle a usted y amenazarle.
Sí.
Yes.
I'm gonna blow your head off.
Le voy a volar la cabeza.
A mí y con quien me ve.
To me, myself, and whoever I was with.
Had he sent you a picture
Y había
that made you
una foto del Señor.
believe that he was capable of
Le
doing
hizo
that?
pensar que es capaz de hacer eso. Yes.
A picture of
Una foto
a gun and of bullets.
Yes.
And were you able to recover that picture
¿Usted pudo
when you tried to?
encontrar esa foto cuando trató de buscarla?
Mm.
No.
Have you had a chance to think about what may have happened to
Y he
him?
tenido una chance de pensar qué pasaría con esa foto.
Loco.
He erased it.
But you're positive,
Pero usted está positiva.
Sí.
yes, and being honest
Y está siendo honesta
with this jury
con el jurado
that he sent you that
que
photograph.
él le mandó esa foto. Yes.
Did it make you feel fear?
Y que la hizo sentir con miedo.
Mucho.
Very fearful.
Did it make you feel like he could carry out
Como que él
his threat?
es posible de amenazar de lo que lo amenazó. Yes.
Numerous threats
Muchas amenazas.
to blow your head off.
De volarle la cabeza.
Sí.
Yes.
Was he showing you how he was going to do
Y
it?
él estaba enseñando cómo lo iba a hacer. Yes.
When you went to his house on the
Cuando
night
usted fue a la casa del
of
Señor
December
el
4th
del
of
4 de
2023,
diciembre del 2023,
he was the one who asked you to come over.
él era el que le preguntó que fuera a su casa. Yes.
I need medicine. I need you to
Necesito
come help me.
medicina. Yo quiero que vengas y me ayudes. Yes.
You didn't volunteer to go over there.
Voluntariamente le digo, yo voy a ir a su casa.
No.
No.
Hi, Jesus, what are you doing?
Hola,
Let's hang out
¿qué
this
estás
evening.
haciendo? Usted no le dijo nada de eso. Vamos a juntarnos.
No.
No.
Were you continuing
Y usted estaba
to try and calm or pacify or appease him?
para que no esté
Siempre.
always.
Why?
¿Por qué?
Porque yo tenía miedo.
Because I'm afraid of him.
And if you tried
Y si usted trataba
to keep contact with him and communication,
mantener contacto y comunicación,
was that in the hopes
era en
that he would not carry out the
en
threats
esperanzas que el Señor no vaya a
to
hacer
burn down
lo
your
que le estaba
house,
amenazando,
to
de
blow
quemarle
your
la
head
casa
off,
y de volarle la cabeza? Yes.
to harm you or your
De
children?
molestarla o hacerle daño a usted y sus hijos. Yes.
And all of those things,
Y todas esas cosas.
as with the continued calling, messaging, driving by, following, showing up at your workplace, unwelcome, unannounced, that they all happen on more than one occasion.
Various occasions.
This wasn't an isolated incident.
No.
Was this a constant pattern of conduct that continued and continued?
Always.
that he may hurt you?
Yes.
Because he had hurt you in the past.
Porque en el pasado ya no había herido. That's it.
Were you afraid
Tenía miedo.
that he could harm your property,
Tal vez le pudiese dañar su propiedad.
your
Yes.
children?
A sus hijos. Yes.
Because multiple times he threatened to do that,
Yes.
and multiple times he threatened to blow your head off.
Yes.
This wasn't something that all happened within the span of a 1 hour conversation on one day only.
Un solo día. No.
It was what you lived every day.
Vivió usted diariamente. Yes.
Did he want to give up control of you?
¿Y él quería soltarla de su control?
Mm.
No.
Did he want to possess you?
Él quería posesionarme. Always.
Did he want to keep you in a constant state of fearing him,
Estado de siempre tenerle miedo. Yes.
in the hopes that you would go back to him?
El pensamiento que iba a regresar usted con él. Yes.
That you would just give up and give
Que
in?
usted se diera por vencida y la iba a convencer. Yes.
At some point, Ms. Contreras,
Algún punto, señora Contreras.
do you feel like you just became resigned
Como si
to this being your life?
que esa iba a ser su vida. Yes.
Did you almost become void of some emotion because there had been so many threats to blow your head off, shoot you, so many threats to burn your house down?
Yes.
Do you feel like he wanted to control you emotionally?
El Señor lo que quería controlar emocionalmente. Yes.
Did you feel emotionally abused?
Usted se sentía abusada emocionalmente. Yes.
Did you feel humiliated by him as his wife?
Como su esposa. Yes.
What kind of things made you feel that way?
¿Qué clase de cosas le hacían sentir así?
No tenía yo mucho valor de defender.
I feel like I didn't have enough value to be able to defend myself.
No tenía.
I just couldn't.
Did you take those numerous threats that happened on many different occasions seriously?
¿Las tomaba en serio?
Sí.
Yes.
You believed he could and would
¿Usted
do it.
creía que era capaz de ser y sí lo podía lograr? Yes.
He could and would burn your house down.
Sí, él quería y podía, le iba a quemar su hogar. Sí. Yes.
And he could and would blow your head off.
Sí, él quería y podría, le iba a volar la cabeza. Yes.
Because had he shown you both by way of a photograph, and then on that evening when he lured you to his house, in person showing you, look, Graciela,
Mira, Graciela,
look under the mattress.
mira debajo del colchón.
I just bought a box,
Acabo de comprar
more than one box, with bullets.
una de las tres.
3 boxes.
3 cajas.
And I have this gun.
Y tengo esta pistola. Yes.
And like I've told you before,
Como te he dicho del pasado,
I'm gonna blow your head
te
off.
voy a volar la cabeza. Yes.
And any other person, especially a man,
Persona, especialmente un hombre,
if I see them with you.
si yo te veo con ellos. Yes.
When the investigator
Cuando el investigador
came to your home
vino a su hogar
on the December the 5th,
el día 5 de
she was
diciembre,
trying to reach you
ella estaba tratando de marcarle
with respect to the misdemeanor
al caso
case
menor,
that you've talked to the jury about, the assault that happened in June of 2021.
del asalto que ya había pasado en junio. Yes.
She was working in conjunction with Victims Assistance.
De asistencia a víctimas. Yes.
Had you been working
Yo
with
sí
them
había estado trabajando con asistencia de tiendas.
and family services,
Con los servicios de familia. Yes.
trying your very best to get help?
Tratando lo mejor de que usted podía recibir ayuda. Yes.
But at some points in time, did you just feel
Pero algún punto en el tiempo,
that it was useless to
usted se
reach out?
sintió que era incapaz de recibir ayuda. Yes.
And this is what I mean when I ask you if you just became resigned to the fact that he could threaten to burn your house down, threaten to blow your head off over and over again, and that he had the capability of doing it.
Yes.
Did you believe,
Usted creía
and did you even
y hasta
say to detectives,
le dijo al detective,
if you find me dead,
si me encuentran
or
muerto
my kids,
o mis hijos,
he did it?
él lo hizo. Yes.
When she came to your house that morning, did she become concerned for your well-being and your safety?
Y por su seguridad. Yes.
And she took you away from your house
Y ella la llevó de su casa. Yes.
and brought you here.
Y la trajeron aquí. Yes.
Did you meet with other investigators, specifically Mr. Paul,
Investigadores, incluso con el señor Paul. Yes.
who spoke some Spanish?
Que hablaba poco español. Yes.
And did they become concerned for your safety based on what they were hearing,
Seguridad por lo que estaban viendo. Yes.
based upon your demeanor,
Basado de su comportamiento. Yes.
based upon the totality of everything you had experienced?
Yes.
And did you have an opportunity at that time to record a small portion of the conversation that happened on that day
¿Qué pasó ese día? Yes.
when he found out that you were talking to an investigator or wanting to know who you were with, where are you?
Yes.
And we've reviewed that, correct, that recording?
Yes.
And you've listened to it, and I will play it for the jury. It's all in Spanish, right?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury in your own words, what was the context
¿Qué era el contenido
of that recording?
de ese audio?
Quería saber con quién estaba hablando.
He wanted to know who I was on the phone with.
Que él pensaba que era hombre.
He thought it was another man. He thought I was with someone else, and he was very upset.
Quería que le tomara un screenshot.
He wanted me to take a screenshot of the phone
Le mandara el número de esa
and
persona
for me to
con quien
send
estaba.
for me to send him the number of the person that I was with.
Él me decía malas palabras.
And he was cussing at me.
Judge, may I publish just a little bit of States 9 at this time?
Of course.
I don't know if I'm hooked up to the audio correctly. Just say that in the notes.
¿A quién era? ¿Se le ves lo que yo no le hago ahora de que diga qué está pasando?
Sí, porque tu hermano es un corrupto de la ley. Él siempre te pone a todo, te enseña todo cómo hacerlo, ¿verdad?
No, de la troca. Tú dices que me hablas de la troca.
De todo. Tu hermano siempre le hablas para...
Ok, no, dime quién habló. No era la pinche gente. Alguien te habló. Ahora no sabes cómo te hablo, Chele. ¿Quién te marcó? Chele, te estoy hablando. ¿Quién te marcó?
Ya te dije, si no me crees, es tu problema. Yo no estoy hablando con ningún hombre. Yo no estoy hablando con ningún pinche hombre, con nadie.
Ok, uno te habló.
Oh, man.
Hoy no van a hablar de un 427, Chele. Ellos van a hablar de un 427. Yo sé de dónde hablan ellos.
Tú sabes todo.
Tú que no, ya te me voy a hablar los que digan. A mí no me haces pinche pendejo. A mí nunca me haces pendejo, Ese pinche no era de policías.
Bueno, pues no era de ningún hombre. Yo no estoy hablando con
Sí
ningún
era, Chele, sí era. Dímelo.
No era de ningún hombre.
Mándame el teléfono, Chele. Yo sé que no era de la pinche fuerte.
Te lo voy a mandar luego. Ahorita no, luego. Pues ve la fecha que es y todo. Ve la fecha que es. No me inventes nada, ¿eh?
No, es ok. No me mandes ya nada. ¿Tú quieres que te mande y te diga y hablas y eso y lo otro? Ok, de aquí adelante tú de mí, tu pinche teléfono y quien hable, no te metas en el pinche teléfono. Ok, así te lo digo, Chele. ¿Tú sabes bien quién era?
Sí, yo sé muy bien quién era, claro que sé.
¿Y quién era?
Claro
Dímelo.
que sé. Y no es ningún hombre ni ninguna maldad, ¿ok? Como dices tú.
¿Quién era, Chele? ¿Quién era?
No era nada, ninguna maldad de esas que tú dices, que yo hago porque ando con...
Chica, tu puta madre, no me hables pendeja. Yo sé mis cosas. Mala mía. Yo sé que no era. Tú mandas pinche teléfonos y todo y no me la pinche porquerieta.
¿Qué hora era?
Fuck you.
¿Qué
Voy a
hora?
agarrar pinche número de teléfono. Voy a agarrar estos nuevos teléfonos de la vieja y voy a desbloquear el otro. Lo voy a desbloquear, te lo juro.
Bueno, pero no era
Yo
ningún
no tengo
hombre.
problemas.
Ok, vas a ver. Te voy a mandar ese número, te lo voy a mandar.
Haz lo que quieras. Lo voy a desbloquear. Hasta que tú digas quién era.
Te vas a meter en problemas. Desbloquea, haz lo
Dime
que
quién
quieras.
era.
Haz lo que
Dime
quieras.
quién era.
Haz lo que quieras.
Dime quién era.
No era ningún hombre. Haz lo que quieras, pero no era ningún hombre.
Dime quién era.
No era ningún hombre.
Dame el número.
Ningún
Dame el
hombre.
número.
Ok, te lo voy a mandar. Para que hables con esa persona, te lo voy a mandar.
No,
Para que hables.
¿cuántos días de 27? Mándamelo.
Ok.
Mándamelo.
A mí no me estés acusando de que yo...
Mándamelo, Chele, porque tú no vas a estar conmigo, te voy a decir eso.
Hazlo. Qué bueno. Es lo que quiero, no estar contigo, eso es lo que quiero.
¿Me lo vas a mandar o no?
Haz lo que quieras. Yo no soy...
¿Me lo vas a mandar o no?
No. Bueno, sí te lo voy a mandar.
Chele.
Sí te lo voy a mandar, claro que sí.
Mándamelo.
Y a mí no me estés insultando.
Oiga, no estoy
A mí no me vuelvas a insultar. No me vuelvas a insultar.
Mándamelo, por favor, ¿qué? Mándamelo.
A mí no me estés inventando nada. Yo no puedo...
Mándamelo, por favor. Si no le hagas, mándamelo.
Bueno, ok. A mí no me estés insultando. No,
Mándame las llamadas donde era las 10:40, Chele.
ok, sí, yo te lo mando. Pero si tú quieres marcarle mujeres, hazlo. A mí no me importa, hazlo.
Mándamelo, tú me lo mandas, Chele, no quieres que yo cague todo. Mándame el número, porque yo solo hablo contigo.
Ya,
Mándame el número.
a mí no me importa, hazlo, habla conmigo.
Mándame el número.
Déjate en paz. Así como
Mándame el número. ¿Tienes a otro pendejo? Mándamelo.
No tengo a nadie.
Mándame el número, Chele.
No tengo a nadie. Porque ya
Mándame el número, ya suficiente mentiras. Mándame el número.
quieres usar tu arma.
Even with the language barrier, for most of us in here, does that give the jury a very, very small, short example of what you were living constantly?
Yes.
Can we hear in your voice that you're trying to pacify him?
Yes.
Okay, it's good.
Está bien. Yes.
Why are you talking to the police? Don't talk to the police.
No estás hablando con la policía. Yes.
And he told you in the past, don't go to the
No
police.
vayas a la policía. Yes.
Don't tell anybody about
No
this.
le digas a nadie que de esto. Yes.
This is our business. It's our
Entre
relationship.
nosotros, es la relación de nosotros. Yes.
Did the number of times he threatened to burn your house down? Did the number of times and occasions he threatened to blow your head off, kill you, or anybody you were with? Did that leave you in a constant state of fear?
Yes.
Fear for your life,
Yes.
and even fearful to reach out.
Y con miedo de pedir ayuda. Yes.
If I just keep him calm, maybe
Si
he
lo
won't do it.
mantengo calmada, a lo mejor no lo hace. That's it. Yes.
But when you finally divorced him,
Pero cuando al final se divorció,
did it become more serious?
se convirtió en más serio. Yes.
When he showed you the gun and the bullets that night, in the, granted, kind of grainy and fuzzy picture that we have,
Que tenemos a lo mejor no es la mejor foto, pero
that you had to take on a split second,
usted lo tuvo que tomar rápidamente en un segundo. Yes.
did that make that threat of blowing your head off
Volarle la cabeza,
that he had been
que él le había estado diciendo.
threatening you with, that he had repeatedly, on numerous occasions, stated he would do?
Que él lo iba a hacer. Yes.
Did you believe at that point
En esa instancia
that
creía
it was even more real?
que se convirtió en más real. Yes.
Was this just another escalation of the picture that he
Entonces
sent?
crecía en conclusión con la foto que le habían mandado, que se había hecho más grande. Yes.
I've told you before, Graciela,
Le he dicho
I'm gonna
antes
blow your
de
head
hacerla,
off.
Te voy a volar la cabeza. Sí. Yes.
I'm going to send you a picture showing you how I
Te
can
voy a
do it.
mandar una foto en cómo lo puedo hacer. Yes.
Now,
Ahorita.
come to my house.
Ven a mi casa.
I need medicine.
Necesito medicina.
You help me.
Usted me ayuda a mí.
It's all about me.
Todo es para mí. Yes.
And let me show you
Déjame
face to
enseñarte
face
en persona,
what I can do.
cara a cara, lo que yo puedo hacer. Yes.
Don't be with another man.
No estés con otro hombre.
I'll blow your head off.
Te vuelo la cabeza. Me and whoever else I was with.
For all of these threats,
Todas estas amenazas
be them verbal,
serían
be them
verbales,
sending you these photographs,
fotografías,
even the harassment,
que la carta de constante acoso,
the torment, the torture.
la tortura,
Was it all directed at you?
y todo era para usted. Yes.
You were his focus.
Usted es un. Yes.
You were his target.
Usted es un. ¿A quién le estaba dando siempre? Yes.
And did all of these things happen
Y todas estas cosas pasaron
on or about December 6, 2023?
el 6 de diciembre del 2023.
And what I mean by that, and that's more of a legal type question, before the time when you went and spoke for the last time to Sergeant Guerrero, had all of these things been happening
Todas estas cosas ya estaban pasando. Yes.
over a course of time
Durante un periodo de tiempo. Sí. Yes.
on numerous occasions?
En muchas diferentes ocasiones.
These were not isolated
Esta no
threats.
era una cosa que pasó solamente una vez. No.
Were they constant?
Eran constantes. Yes.
Did you feel it was ever going to stop?
Usted sentía que algún día iba a parar.
¿Se iba a parar todo eso?
Sí. No, he said it was never gonna stop.
And do you have that same fear today?
Y tienes el mismo miedo hoy. Yes.
Has it been difficult to be here?
Ha sido difícil de estar aquí. Very much.
Here. Difficult to face him.
Difícil de tener que enfrentarlo. Yes.
For all of these threats,
Todas estas amenazas.
to burn your house down,
De quemarnos su casa.
to blow your head off,
Quemarnos la cabeza.
to show you how
De enseñarle
I
cómo
can do it by way of photo,
por foto.
by way of showing you in
Para
person.
enseñarle en persona.
Did they all happen numerous times
Todas esas cosas pasaron muchas veces. Sí. Yes.
on different
En
occasions?
diferentes ocasiones. Yes.
This was just how he behaved.
Este era el comportamiento del Señor. Yes.
And it just became a continuation,
Y era
one
solamente
upon another,
que
upon another.
contenía siempre uno detrás de otro, detrás de otro. Yes.
Sorry, Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
We see the earlier text messages that came after the assault in June of 21, right?
Llegaron después de que la sentó en junio del 2021.
We've talked about those,
Y hemos platicado sobre eso.
how he apologized,
Como él me pedía perdón.
tried to keep you from going to the police.
Para que usted no vaya a la policía.
Please don't get me in trouble.
Por favor, no me metas en problemas. Yes.
Did the text messages continue and continue and
Mensajes
continue?
contenían y continuaban y continuaban. Yes.
And did you continue to try to appease and pacify him?
Seguían tratando de mantenerlo al margen. Yes.
To play nice, so to speak.
Que se porta bien usted con el Señor, para que no pasaran las cosas. Yes.
At times did he insult you?
A veces se le insultaba. Yes.
Call you a whore?
Y decía que always.
Always. At times did you get frustrated
Y a veces usted se frustraba. Yes.
and say, you're not gonna do this.
Y usted le decía, no me hagas hacer esto. Yes.
You're stupid.
Eres tonto.
You're embarrassing to me.
Me estás dando vergüenza a mí.
You're not right in the head.
No estás bien a la cabeza. Yes.
But the communication just
Pero
kept
la
on and kept on.
comunicación seguía y seguía. Yes.
In State's Exhibit number 11, you've had a chance to review these.
Revisar eso. Yes.
Is this just a very small window
Solamente algo pequeño.
into some of the messages that went back and forth between you all?
Contenían siempre entre ustedes dos. Yes.
No objection, Your Honor.
States 11 is submitted.
And Judge, I would submit to the court, just for clarification for the record and for the jury, you're gonna see the top pages are not necessarily in consecutive numerical order. I went through, there were some duplicates that were just repetitive pages over and over again, so I went through and just cleaned it up a little, but that's why the numbers appear different.
Okay, thank you.
Did all of these things happen here in Jefferson County?
Todas estas acciones pasaron aquí en el condado de Jefferson.
Except for when we discussed Florida.
Yes, here and 2 occasions in Florida.
And we've heard about what happened in June of 2021.
Hemos oído lo que pasó en 2021 de julio. Yes.
Was that an isolated
Y eso
incident?
fue algo que pasó entre los dos. Yes.
Was that, what I mean by that is, was that a one-time occurrence between you?
Lo que quiero decir es
That had
eso
never
pasó
happened before, never happened again?
No. It had happened on various occasions.
And over the course of your relationship, both in Florida and then back here in Jefferson County, did the abusive, assaultive, tormentive behavior just continue?
It would continue and it would only get worse.
Until it escalated from a push into the wall, a slap on the face, a bruise on your arm, to numerous threats of, I'm gonna burn your house down, I'm gonna blow your head off.
Yes.
I'm gonna kill you and I can do it.
La voy a matar y yo lo puedo hacer. Yes.
If I can't have you, no one
Si yo
can.
no lo puedo tener, nadie lo puede tener. Yes.
And all of these things and all of these threats were done by this man?
Estas amenazas eran hechas por este señor.
Sí, muchas veces muy joven.
Yes.
Es más,
A lot of times he was high and it caused more fear.
Did you feel him more capable sometimes when he was under that influence, carrying out these threats?
Que no podía hacer más cuando estaba drogado. Yes.
It wasn't a joke, or it wasn't just a one-time heated argument couples might have.
No era algo que pasaba una sola vez, que era una llamada entre ellos.
Your Honor, at this point, I think I'd object just to ask answered.
Sustained.
Graciela,
Señora Graciela,
did you feel stalked by him?
usted se sentía acosada por él.
Your Honor,
Yes.
again, this line of questioning has been exhausted at this point. I'm asked answered.
Sustained.
That's finished.
Thank you, Ms. Malfino. Mr. Jeffries?
Ms. Contreras. We're going to keep this pretty simple.
Vamos a mantener
I hope to ask you questions that you can answer in yes and no.
Preguntas que puede contestar en sí y no.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't know me,
Usted no me
correct?
conoce a mí, ¿verdad?
No.
You've never met with me?
Nunca ha platicado conmigo. No.
You've never come to my office.
Nunca ha venido a mi oficina. No.
We've never discussed this case.
No hemos platicado sobre ese caso. No.
We've never discussed this testimony, have we?
Nunca hemos platicado sobre este testimonio. No.
You testified yesterday, I believe that you've been a citizen of Beaumont
Que usted
for 24 years.
ha vivido aquí en Beaumont por 24 años.
Is that correct?
¿Es correcto? That's correct.
Except for, of course, when you went to Florida for about 2 months.
Pero cuando fui a Florida por 2 meses.
Right.
Yes.
And after those 2 months in 2001, you moved back to Beaumont.
Yes.
When you moved to Beaumont, did you have a residence that you stayed in?
¿Tenía un lugar donde vivir? Sí. Yes.
Did you stay there by yourself?
Vivía ahí sola.
Con mis hijos.
With my children.
With your, how many children do you have?
¿Cuántos hijos tiene? Sí. 7.
And you testified yesterday that Mr. Ibarra moved back to Beaumont later.
Después de usted. No inmediatamente, pero después. Yes, later.
Did he move in with you?
¿Y él se mudó a la casa con usted?
No.
No.
But you would agree that you and Mr. Ibarra were in constant communication with each other.
Constante comunicación con uno y otro. Sí. Yes.
And some of that communication was affectionate, loving, and joking. And some of it was very argumentative.
Family fights.
And would you agree that it wasn't uncommon to start the day with fun-loving type of text and communication, but by lunch, we're in a full-blown fight?
It was always a constant fight.
We listened to the recorded conversation between you and Mr. Ibarra. Would you dispute that that call happened on December the 5th?
Yes.
And would you dispute that that call lasted about 4 minutes and 24 seconds?
Yes.
Was that the only call you had with Mr. Ibarra that day?
¿Esa fue la única llamada que tuvo con el señor Ibarra ese día? No. I don't believe so.
You had spoke to him
Había hablado con él
at least 3 different phone calls prior to that,
3
correct?
veces otras llamadas anterior de eso, ¿verdad? Possibly.
And then immediately following
Y
it,
luego después de esa llamada,
you called him back where y'all had a 23-minute
donde
conversation.
tuvieron una conversación de 23 minutos.
Puede ser, ¿no?
Possibly, I don't remember.
And then that conversation was followed up with another 10-minute conversation.
Esa conversación siguió con otra llamada de 10 minutos.
No recuerdo, puede ser.
I don't remember it, possibly.
But none of the other conversations were
Ninguna de las
recorded.
otras conversaciones fue what?
Recorded.
Ninguna de las otras conversaciones fueron grabadas.
No,
No.
fue peleando.
We were arguing.
But none of those were recorded.
Pero ninguna de esas fueron grabadas. No.
And what we heard in that conversation
Lo que vimos en la conversación
was confusion about a telephone number that you were telling him to call.
Un número que usted estaba diciendo que marcara.
Sí.
Yes.
And he wanted to know who that phone number
Él
was.
estaba diciendo que
He
yo,
was telling me,
pero él estaba pidiendo.
he was asking me for the number.
And that number was to who?
Y ese número era de quién? The detective.
And his confusion was in
Dice, la confusión
part,
del
and
Señor.
if you don't know this, then
Dice, y si no sabe la
by all
cosa,
means, let me know.
déjeme saber.
But would you know
Pero
if
usted
his
sabe
confusion in that
que
phone
su
call
confusión
was
en
in
esa
part because he
llamada
thought it was due
era
to an
porque
accident
él
that he had had,
pensaba que era sobre un accidente que tenía.
a vehicle accident where the bumper had fallen off.
Tuvo un accidente donde se le cayó el bumper de la camioneta.
Sí, pero yo no sabía de eso.
Yes, but I didn't know about that.
You know, the bumper didn't get delivered to your house.
No le mandaron el bumper a su casa.
Después.
After.
En ese llamado dice,
In that call,
¿quién es ese hombre?
he keeps saying, who is that man?
Él está preguntando que quién es ese hombre. ¿Con
He's
quién
asking, who is the man? Who am I with?
Who are you calling? Because that's not the number to the police department, right?
Estoy diciendo, ¿a quién le están marcando? Porque ese no es el número de la policía, ¿verdad? Yes.
So he was confused.
Dice,
You're saying it's a detective, but he knows the number to the police department, and that's not it.
Él está diciendo que dice, sabe el número de la policía y ese no es.
No está confundido.
He's not
Bien
confused.
sabe lo que sí.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
And in that conversation,
En esa conversación,
he did make a threat of some
hizo
sort, didn't
una
he?
amenaza, ¿verdad?
¿Qué?
En esa conversación.
Sí.
Yes.
But it wasn't a threat of violence,
Pero no fue una amenaza violenta.
Sí.
Yes.
and it wasn't a threat of arson.
Dice, y no fue una amenaza de quemarle su casa.
En esa ocasión no.
On that occasion, no.
He threatened to unblock his girlfriends.
Dice, la amenaza fue que iba a desbloquear a sus novias.
And the number,
Y el número,
because you sent a
usted le mandó
screenshot
un screenshot
of the call list
de las llamadas
for that morning
de
to
mañana
the
a
detective,
los
correct?
detectives, ¿verdad? Usted le mandó las llamadas a los detectives. Yes.
And you sent it to the detective at
Se le mandó a los detectives
12:45
a las 12:45
p.m.
de la tarde, más o menos. Yes.
And you sent that same screenshot to Mr. Ibarra at 11:17 a.m.
A las 11:17. La misma foto que le mandó el detective, se la mandó al señor Ibarra.
Sí.
Yes.
So you sent it to Mr. Ibarra
Se la
first,
mandó al señor Ibarra primero.
and then later sent it to the
Y luego
detective.
se la mandó al detective.
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
And in the middle of that, you're having phone conversations with Mr. Ibarra.
En- ¿Cómo?
En medio de eso, donde usted manda la foto al señor Ibarra, el detective, estaba en el teléfono con el señor.
Él me pedía que mandara un screenshot.
He was asking me to send him the screenshot.
Estaba en el teléfono diciendo,
He was on the phone
Yo tenía
saying,
que
send it to me,
aquí.
send it to me. I had to maintain him calm.
Let's visit the day before, December 4th.
El día anterior, el 4 de diciembre.
On December 4th,
El día 4 de diciembre.
you called Mr. Ibarra
Usted le llamó al señor
several
Ibarra
times,
varias veces.
correct?
¿Verdad?
Pero el primero.
He called me first.
Would you agree that you called
El día que usted llamó,
and he did not answer
él no contestó el teléfono?
No.
5 times in the
Cinco
course of
veces
an hour?
Durante una hora que usted le habló. Usted le habló al señor Ibarra 5 veces durante una hora.
Solo regresaba la llamada.
I would return his phone call.
May I approach?
You may.
I'm just going to allow you to look at this to refresh your memory,
Que vea la
okay?
foto para que vuelva a recordar.
This is your phone number,
Ese es su
correct?
número de teléfono, ¿verdad? Yes.
And you go by Shelley, correct?
Si le dicen Shelly.
Sí.
Yes.
And this is
This says that this phone received a number
Dice que este número
from
recibió
this
estas llamadas
that many times, and
estas
it was a
mismas
missed
veces
call.
y no eran llamadas contestadas.
But does that refresh your memory?
Dice eso le refresca la memoria.
No, porque yo nunca le llamaba tanto.
No, because I never called him that much.
Yo creo que
Okay.
estaba,
I would only answer his phone calls.
porque si no le
You only answered the phone
If
calls?
not, he would get upset.
You only answered the phone calls.
Solamente le contestaba.
Okay. So on November 29th
Dice su
at
29 de
7:34 a.m., you didn't call.
7:34 de la mañana, ¿usted no le habló?
Sí,
Yes.
no recuerdo.
And possibly, I don't remember.
December 2nd,
El día de su-
2:40 p.m. Did you call?
¿Usted le habló?
No recuerdo.
I don't
Pero
remember.
si yo le hablaba,
But if I
porque
called
él me
him-
hablaba primero.
If I return the call, it's because he would call me first.
He would call you first every time.
Y él me hablaba primero, siempre.
Siempre.
Always. Yes.
Judge, I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't necessarily have an objection, but I would ask if Mr. Jeffries would at least either refer to what he's viewing, if it's already a state's exhibit, or if he would tender it before citing it in front of the jury.
Agreed.
Excuse me. Okay. So your testimony is just that you've never called Mr. Ibarra except for returning a phone call?
Le hablaba para atrás.
Sí.
Yes. Only I would call back.
Your testimony is that you have accusations against Mr. Ibarra in Florida.
En Florida.
And that's from 2021,
Y eso es del 2021.
Sí.
Yes.
and those accusations have yet to be processed through
No
court.
están procesados por la corte todavía.
Sí.
Yes.
And then you have the accusation from
Una acusación
June 9th
del 9 de junio
of 2021.
del 2021.
Sí.
Yes.
In that June 9th accusation,
El
you,
9 de junio.
the one that happened at HEB,
El que pasó en la HEB.
Hubo un suceso en mi casa primero.
Something happened at my home first.
the officers came to HEB.
Los oficiales llegaron a la HEB. Yes.
You mentioned that he
Usted mencionó que
took control of the situation,
él tomó control de la situación.
and he wouldn't let you talk to the officer. Is that what
¿No dejaba
your
que
testimony
usted
is?
hablara con el oficial?
No.
No.
So if the officer files a report and says that he separated you two and talked to you separately,
Los separó y
the
platicó
officer
con
would be
ustedes
lying?
Separadamente, el oficial está echando mentiras?
No.
I don't remember.
Okay. You say you're very, very, very scared of Mr. Ibarra.
Le tiene mucho, mucho miedo al señor Ibarra.
Sí.
Yes.
Do you have any recollection of an incident from
Incidente que pasó
June 24th,
el 24 de
2023
del 2023
at the Magic Fiesta?
en la fiesta? Marta? No.
You don't remember when,
¿En Florida?
no, this would be in Beaumont.
No, aquí en Bowman.
You don't remember when Mr. Ibarra
No, recuerdo
won
cuando el
some
señor
money
Ibarra ganó
at the Magic
dinero
Fiesta?
En la Magic Fiesta.
Él
el
ganó
cuarto
dinero,
dinero.
pero yo no hablaba con él.
He did win money, but I wasn't with him.
Well, you showed up
Dice que
later,
usted llegó.
No.
No.
and the police were eventually called out there. You don't remember that?
¿No se acuerda de eso?
Eso, él no ganó dinero ese día.
Oh, he didn't win money that day.
Where you broke the mirrors off of
Ese donde
his
usted le quebró los
SUV?
vidrios de su troca.
Sí, me acuerdo.
Yes, I remember.
Okay. Were you very, very, very scared of Mr. Ibarra
Ese día
at
usted
that
le
point?
tenía mucho miedo ese día.
Sí, le tenía
Yeah.
miedo, pero él
Yes.
estaba adentro.
I was afraid. He was inside. That's why I did it.
revisiting the June 9th, 2021,
Dice, hablando otra vez de lo de junio del 2021.
you've mentioned several times that
Se ha
you,
dicho varias veces.
well, let me back up a second.
Se me voy a regresar un poco.
The police came to HEB.
La policía vino de Chile. Yes.
Did you ask for charges to be filed at that point, or was it later?
¿Pusieron cargos ese día o fue más tarde?
No recuerdo, puede ser.
I don't remember, but
No recuerdo exactamente.
I don't remember exactly.
Porque él controló la
Because he
situación.
controlled the situation.
Okay. If I show you a
Si le enseño
written statement by you, would it help refresh your memory?
Escribió y
No,
mejor
pero-
ayuda.
Yes, sir.
¿Recuerda? Una declaración.
Do you recognize
Dice,
this statement?
¿usted reconoce esa declaración?
Is this your name at the
¿Ese es
top?
su nombre arriba del papel? That's my name.
Is this your signature at
¿Ese
the
es su
bottom?
firma abajo?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you complete this form?
¿Y usted escribió esta forma? ¿Usted la llenó?
No, eso no lo hice.
No, I didn't do that.
Eso no lo hice, no es mi letra.
And that's not my handwriting.
Do you remember going to the police station
¿Usted recuerda ir a la estación de policía?
to make this statement?
¿Hacer esa declaración?
De ese día decidí para
And the incident of HEB? Yes, I think I do remember.
Do you remember what date you went
¿Y
to make that
qué
statement?
día fue a la estación a hacer esa declaración?
No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
In States Exhibit 11,
Dice en el exhibito número 11.
approach you.
Yes, sir.
You've already said that you recognize this and you've
Usted ya ha
reviewed it.
dicho anteriormente que usted reconoce ese documento y ya lo ha leído.
And that you've agreed to these messages
¿Está de
being
acuerdo que esos
true and
mensajes
correct,
son verdaderos y correctos? Yes.
and that they give a proper representation
Una representación
of the communication that y'all had on a regular
comunicación
basis?
que ustedes dos tenían en una base regular. Yes.
Were you You frequently made statements
Frecuentemente decía usted
calling Mr. Ibarra
siempre al señor Ibarra,
a damn pig,
que decía un puerco,
a crazy psycho.
que era un loco.
Sí, lo decía.
Yes, I would tell him that he was crazy.
Stupid.
Le decía estúpido.
Cuando me insultaba.
When he would insult me, yes.
Called him trash.
Le decía basura.
Mm,
No.
Fucking sicko.
Mucho pendejo.
sí, porque también me decía.
Yes, because he would insult me also.
The only embarrassment in your life.
Soy el único que le da vergüenza en su vida.
Oh, sí, porque me insultaba. Yo
Yes,
tenía
because
que
he would
defender.
insult me and I had to defend myself.
An idiot.
Un idiota.
Sí, porque él me insultaba.
Yes, because he would insult me also.
Sí.
Con hombres.
He would tell me that I was with men.
And this was the normal communication that you and Mr. Ibarra had.
Comunicación normal entre usted y el señor Ibarra. It was always fights. Always.
Pero porque él me insultaba, me decía.
Yeah, because he would insult me all the time. I was with men.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. Anything else, Ms. Molfino?
I have just 1 second, Commissioner.
Sure.
Judge, subject to recall, I don't have any further questions.
All right, any objection to Ms. Contreras being excused?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Contreras. You can step down, make yourself available. However, if they need you again,
Si la vuelven a llamar, hay una posibilidad. So, asegúrese que sí va a haber otra posibilidad que le vuelvan a llamar para que regresen a corte.
and also keep in mind all of the instructions that you were given before as
Y
well.
recuerda que puede ir bajo depuración, no puede platicar con nadie sobre el caso del que está pendiente.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Burge.
Excuse me, Ms. Burge, the excuse, she indicated yesterday that if we need her back, we could just give her a quick phone call.
Yes, ma'am, of course. Thank you, Ms. Burge.
Thank you.
You may call your next witness.
The state calls Officer Palomares.
Palomares, Officer Palomares. Good morning, sir. And sir, were you here yesterday and sworn in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. You can have a seat. And if you'll just reach down you can pull that microphone around. I don't know if it's on though. It is on. Okay, perfect. You may proceed.
Good morning.
Morning.
Would you please state your name for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury and the record?
I'm Officer Augustine Palomares.
Are you an officer with the Beaumont Police Department?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
How long have you been with BPD?
About 8 years.
And you're a certified police officer in the state of Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
What are your routine duties on patrol?
Patrol, answer calls, make traffic stops, enforce the laws.
And were you doing that back in June of 2021?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
And did you have an occasion to be dispatched out to the HEB here on College Street,
I was.
where you made contact with both Ma Graciela Contreras, who you just saw exit the courtroom, correct?
Correct.
As well as the defendant, Jesus Ibarra?
Yes, ma'am.
Was the nature of the call due to a possible assault,
It was.
a domestic disturbance?
Yes, ma'am.
Had in fact the call come in from one of Ms. Contreras's relatives?
I don't remember the call, but it was.
What happened when you arrived on scene? Describe for the jury kind of what the nature of what was going on was.
Yes, ma'am. So I was dispatched to assist another officer with a Spanish-speaking complainant, which was Priscilla. And when I got there, I could tell, she was, I want to say excited, but she was what's a better word? She seemed like she needed help, and you could tell she was frustrated because she couldn't get what she was saying to the other officers, so I started speaking with her in Spanish, and she went on from there to more details about what happened.
Did she seem at times, even when you were able to communicate with her in her native language, kind of weary of the fact that the defendant was on the same premises?
I'm sorry, can you ask?
Even though you were able then to communicate with her in Spanish,
Yes, ma'am.
did she give you the impression that although they may have been separated by some distance, that he was still right there?
Well, I don't remember exactly the full details because it's been so long, but yes, ma'am.
But were they both there?
Yes, ma'am, they were.
It wasn't as if you had been dispatched to a call and she was there and he was nowhere to be found.
No, it wasn't like that. He was there as well.
Would you agree with me that, have you had experience with victims of domestic violence before?
Yes, ma'am.
And been dispatched to those types of calls on many occasions?
Yes, ma'am.
would you agree with me that at times it can be very typical for complainants or victims not to want to be fully forthcoming or make a big deal out of the situation when they're in the presence of their abuser?
Correct.
But did she indicate to you that an assault had occurred at her home on Highland
Yes, ma'am, she did.
on June 9th of 2021?
Yes, ma'am,
And is that in Jefferson County, Texas?
it is.
And that he had caused her pain by striking her
Yes, ma'am, I believe he pushed her against the wall.
and pushing her against a wall. Did she say that she had been hurt by him?
She did.
Was he given an opportunity to talk to officers?
He was.
Did he just deny?
Yes, ma'am, he claimed that it was just all verbal.
Did he tell you she probably got those bruises you see at work?
She did, he did,
It's her fault.
he did.
I didn't do anything.
Yes, ma'am.
And she showed you that bruising
She did.
and stated that there had been multiple times that she had been hurt by him.
Yes, ma'am, she did.
Was a report taken, filed, and did this conclude your portion of your involvement in this matter?
Yes, ma'am.
Pass along, Ms. Chief.
Thank you, Ms. Malfino. Mr. Jeffries?
Officer? Could you tell me again why you were called out to HEB, what your role was intended to be?
Yes, sir, to translate for other officers in a possible disturbance.
Is that an extraordinarily odd situation?
No, it's not, that happens a lot.
It happens a lot where there's Spanish-speaking individuals, and what's the process for that? If a non-Spanish-speaking officer is dealing with a Spanish-speaking individual?
So I just get there, translate. Most of the times I end up taking the report because it's just easier for everybody in the scene, so I can, if there's more follow-ups, I can follow up with the victim. So whenever I get dispatched translate, I end up taking the report of being the primary officer.
How difficult is it for the non-Spanish-speaking individuals to call you out there? Or not necessarily you, but an interpreter?
Depending how many, Spanish-speaking officers or whatever language the victim is, and how many officers are on shift that day.
But it's not something that's uncommon.
Yes, I guess.
Alright. On this particular situation, family violence situations, let's just talk about that. Domestic disputes. Those are high intense situations for officers to respond to, correct?
Yes, sir.
I've heard they're some of the most dangerous to respond to for officers, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And some of the procedures that you go through, some of the safeguards is when you respond to those types of situations, you separate the people so that you can get good statements from everybody.
Yes, sir.
Was that procedure followed on this situation?
If I remember correctly, I believe so. I know it's been a while. I believe victim was by the front of the store, and a suspect was not far, but I guess I can't remember exactly, but they were not together next to each other.
Could the complaining witness in this situation, could she speak to you freely?
If I remember correctly, yes. Yes, sir.
At any point, did Mr. Ibarra try to intervene and take over the conversation between you and Ms. Contreras?
While I was there, no, sir.
Do you know if Mr. Ibarra was arrested that day?
To my knowledge, no, sir.
He was not?
No.
That's what.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. Anything else, Ms. Malfino?
There you go.
Any objection to Officer Palomar's being excused?
No, Your Honor.
Any objection, Ms. Malfino?
Oh, no, thank you very much.
Thank you, officer. You're excused, and keep in mind the instructions you were previously given.
Yes, ma'am.
You may call your next witness.
Thank you. Judge, I call Officer Gerber.
Officer Gerber.
Yes. Corey Gerber.
Good morning.
Morning.
You can go ahead and have a seat, sir. You may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, Officer Gerber. Would you introduce yourself to ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
My name's Corey Gerber.
How long have you been with Belmont Police Department?
Just started my 29th year.
Congratulations. You're a certified peace officer in the state of Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
And I take it you've done just about every job there is at the police department,
Yes,
other than
ma'am.
being an ID tech or a property tech.
Yes, ma'am.
Back on March 28th of 2023, were you on duty that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you dispatched to St. Elizabeth's Hospital?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Is that located in Jefferson County, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you dispatched with respect to a harassment?
Yes, ma'am.
And you went to investigate the situation and make sure things had calmed down?
Yes, ma'am.
When you arrived, did you make contact with an individual identified as the victim, Ma Graciela Contreras?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you enlist the help of a Miss Loya in translating?
She was already there, but yes, ma'am.
Okay, she was already there, but do you speak Spanish?
No, ma'am.
So you needed to have someone who could help you in conversing with Miss Contreras?
Yes, ma'am.
And Miss Loya did that for you?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Did she indicate that the defendant, Jesus Ibarra, had showed up to her workplace unannounced?
Yes, ma'am, she did.
What else did she indicate that he did while she was eating in the cafeteria?
He accused her of cheating with somebody at work, and then said if he found out she was cheating, he'd kill her.
She told you directly
Through the translator. Yes, ma'am.
he threatened to kill her.
Yes, ma'am.
While you were gathering that information, did she tell you that she was in fear of her life?
Yes, ma'am. She stated that he always has a gun on him, so, and he's made threats to kill her, so she was very in fear of her life.
This wasn't an isolated incident of a threat to kill her.
Apparently not. She got at work and then through text also.
Did she appear in fear to you, in distress?
She definitely seemed scared, more than a normal person would be.
Did she indicate that she felt that Mr. Ibarra was violent?
Yes, she stated that he's been violent in the past.
And then on this day, he threatened if he caught her cheating, he'd kill her, and he had made the threat in the past.
Yes, ma'am.
Was she cooperative in the investigation?
Yes, ma'am, she was.
And were terrorist threat charges filed?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Officer Gerber.
Thank you, Ms. Malfino. Mr. Jeffries?
Mr. Gerber? You are not a Spanish-speaking individual, correct?
No, sir, I'm not.
Over your 29 years, how is it super uncommon for you to respond to situations where you need to enlist the help of an interpreter?
Sometimes it's needed.
Through your 29 years of experience, if you respond to a situation and somebody can't speak English, do you discard that situation?
No, sir.
Do you work to find out what's happening with it?
Yes, sir, I do.
And if you need to enlist the assistance of an interpreter, you do so, correct?
Either a family member, a friend, or a police officer.
But you don't discard an accusation or a situation just simply because somebody's not speaking English, right?
Correct.
That would just be wrong.
Be immoral.
Immoral, correct. In the particular situation that you've been referring to, you responded to St. Elizabeth's?
Yes, sir.
And it was due to an accusation from Ms. Contreras, right?
Yes, sir.
Was there any other evidence that he made any type of threats or was assaultive, or was it based off her?
Based off her statement to the translator who informed me.
Thank you. Further questions?
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. Anything else, Ms. Malfino?
No, thank you, Officer Gerber, may he be excused.
Any objection?
No objection.
Thank you, sir. You're excused. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and take a mid-morning break. It's 10:40. We'll take a 15-minute break and get started at 5 minutes to 11. Keep in mind all the instructions you were previously given. For everyone else, please remain seated. You're excused for 15 minutes. All right, let the record reflect the jury's outside the presence of the courtroom. Is there anything we need to take up before we take a break? Ms. Malfino?
I believe so, Judge.
Mr. Jeffries?
From me,
All right, we'll be in a 15-minute. All right, let the record reflect state's attorneys present, defendant and defense counsel are present. Anything we need to take up before we bring the jury in? Ms. Malfino? Mr. Jeffries? All right, all right, we can get the jury in. Huh?
I should have gone on the bathroom break and I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
Shame on me.
Mm-hmm. All right, let the record reflect the jury seated, state's attorneys present, defendant and defense counsel are present. Ms. Malfino, you may call your next witness.
Thank you. The state calls Sadie Guidry, Your Honor.
All right, Sadie Guidry. If you get Sadie Guidry, please.
May I have just 1 second to step in the back for a female issue?
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Wait just a second. Ms. Malfino had to step in the back real quick. And you were here yesterday and sworn, right? I thought so. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Guidry, would you please state your full name for the record?
Sadie Guidry.
And how are you employed?
I work for the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office.
In fact, are you the family violence investigator for the DA's office?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been with our office?
2.5 years.
And prior to being an investigator with the district attorney's office, what did you do?
I worked at Port Arthur Police Department.
For how long?
At the department, a little over 17 years.
Are you a certified peace officer in the state of Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
And throughout the duration of your law enforcement career, both in Port Arthur and here at the DA's office, have you had multiple occasions to become involved in investigations of family violence matters?
Yes, ma'am.
Talk to the jury just a little bit, based on your experience, about family violence.
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
Talk to the jury a little bit about, based on your experience, the dynamics of family violence. We have different categories of offenses, so to speak.
Yes.
We have violent persons offenses.
Yes.
Offenses against children.
Yes.
Offenses against property.
Yes.
Does family violence have some unique characteristics of its own?
Yes.
And explain that to the jury.
Well, I would say the majority of the time it's about power and control. But I guess I'm trying to understand what you're actually asking. But it takes a while for the victims to report it. It always escalates, and usually, starting at the beginning of it, it usually takes several incidents to occur for them finally to get the courage to report it, to call police, to ask for help.
Is it common for victims of abuse to be fearful of reaching out to the authorities?
Yes, because they're the constant threats, and they believe these threats are real because they've already been shown violent, that the person can be violent towards them. They don't, a lot of times they don't even tell family. They're isolated from everyone. You know, that begins a process they start the process usually in the beginning, isolating them from friends and family. It sometimes even work. They don't want them to leave the home.
Can family violence victims, in your experience in investigations and dealing with them, can they become entrenched in what could be try to pacify their abuser, keep in communication with them?
Oh yes, and to somebody that doesn't deal with family violence a lot, it would look like they are wanting to be in that relationship or agreeing to whatever the person, the abuser is saying, but it's just out of fear, and they want to cooperate because they know what can happen if they don't cooperate.
Cooperate with their abuser?
Yes, cooperate with their abuser.
Is it common for abusers to tell their victims, don't talk to the police?
Yes, they don't. That happens all the time. That's why I'm very strict on not letting victims sign non-prosecution forms until I talk to them and they go through a class and things like that, because a lot of times they're being forced to do that. That's, out of fear or actual verbal threats or physical threats.
And on that note, does that then lend to part of your job duties as our family violence investigator for you to make contact with victims and first try to do so via the telephone? And if you're unable to reach them, you will actually go to them at their location?
Yes, ma'am. That's one of my, that's my main job duty, is to contact all family violence victims. And when I can't get a hold of them, I will track them down.
And did you have an occasion back in 2023 to become involved in some investigations that involved Mr. Jesus Ibarra as well as Ma Graciela Contreras?
Yes, ma'am.
Was she deemed to be the victim of an alleged misdemeanor alleged misdemeanor family violence assault that had occurred back in June of 21?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you make multiple attempts to try to reach her?
Yes.
At times were you unable to reach her?
Yes.
So at some point in early December of 2023, did you actually go to her residence in search of her?
Yes, I did.
Was she there?
Yes, she was.
What did you observe?
Well, I remember it took a few minutes, it looked like somebody was home, and it took a few minutes for her to come to the door, but, when she eventually came to the front door, I could see that she was distraught, like, she looked like she had been crying, she was literally shaking, I remember, and, I couldn't speak with her because I do not speak Spanish, but I could see that she was very scared, and I didn't really know what was going on, but she shows me that she's on the phone, and I'm hearing, oh, I'm sorry, do you want me to keep on?
Yes.
Okay, there was a male subject on the phone, and, gosh, it said Mia Moore or something, I remember that, as the name, but I could hear an angry male subject speaking Spanish, talking very fast, I couldn't understand what he was saying, but it sounded, it did not sound good. It sounded like, he was, yelling at her and just, we don't speak the same language, but I could definitely tell that something was wrong. He was not happy.
Could you tell from the tone and the inflection
The
that
tone,
there was some type of an argument going on?
and she was telling me she was just doing like this for me to be quiet, and I was trying to, understand, but I knew it was not a good situation, and I got her to come with me.
You brought her with you away from the home.
Yes.
For her safety.
Because honestly, it was making me kind of nervous because I couldn't understand what was being said, and I was looking over my shoulder thinking that maybe he was on his way, and I already knew that family violence had occurred on several occasions from looking, I remember reading the report and looking at his history. But I just brought her away because I didn't know what was about to happen.
Okay. And did you bring her here to the courthouse, to the district attorney's office?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that so that you could enlist the assistance of Paul Arvizo, who's another of our investigators?
Yes, it was for her safety, and so I wanted to know exactly what was going on. He speaks Spanish.
And so were you all able, you and Arvizo, able to get her securely into the courthouse?
Yes, ma'am.
In fact, did you bring her in with your jacket over her head?
Yes.
So that maybe no one would see her?
Yes, ma'am.
And based on her conversation, what she was able to kind of communicate with Paul, did you all find yourself with the same concerns for her?
Yes, because she expressed threats, the constant threats, and threatening to kill her, and just the constant harassing, the numerous phone calls that it was a serious matter.
In your mind, at this point, had things risen to a much different scenario than what you thought you might be going out to her home to talk about a misdemeanor assault?
Yes.
And did you think it pertinent and necessary to put her in contact with and take her to the Beaumont Police Department?
Yes.
To meet with Sergeant Guerrero, who is the head of their family violence unit?
Yes.
And did you do so?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Malfina. Mr. Jeffries?
And Judge, just so Mr. Jeffries knows, there was nothing in discovery to tender to him, or I would have.
Okay.
You arrived at the residence, correct?
Yes, sir.
And there was a, excuse me, and she was already on the phone.
Yes, she was on the phone with somebody.
And whoever was on the phone was speaking loudly and quickly and in another language.
Yes,
A language you do not speak. Correct.
that's correct. I can understand a little bit.
And you are employed with the district attorney's office?
Yes, sir, I am.
As what was your title?
I'm a family violence investigator.
Family violence investigator. And there are current investigations happening with Mr. Ibarra and Ms. Cardenas, right?
At that, are you talking about the reason why I was there?
Yeah.
Yes.
And currently.
Yes.
And those accusations are built off of her accusations, correct?
The reports that we've received, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. Anything else, Ms. Malfino?
No, Judge.
Any objection to investigator Guidry being excused?
Nope.
Thank you, ma'am. Keep in mind the rules you were placed under. You may call your next witness.
Call Sergeant Barrera.
Sergeant Barrera, please. Good morning, ma'am. And Sergeant, you were here yesterday, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning.
Hello.
Would you please introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Yvette Herrera. I'm a detective sergeant with the Beaumont Police Department.
And how long have you been with the Beaumont Police Department?
Went on 32 years.
Long time,
Long time.
congratulations. And we've worked on many occasions together, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the detective sergeant in charge of the family violence unit over at Beaumont Police Department?
Yes, ma'am. My current assignment is Criminal Investigations Division, and I am the direct supervisor over family violence, which is 7 people in our office, 6 detectives, 1 case specialist, and we work everything from capital murder on down. If it meets the definition of domestic violence or dating violence in the state of Texas, we work it.
Can you tell the jury a little bit about, based on your years of experience with all kinds of calls of service and a lot of family violence calls, investigations, ranging from, as you said, very serious offenses to very minor misdemeanor offenses? Does it run the gamut of things that can happen involving family violence?
Yes, ma'am, it does. You know, family violence is a very complex and fluid crime. No case is ever the same. There's the emotions part of it, the physical part of it, the emotional abuse, the psychological abuse that happens. Typically, it takes a victim, whether they're male or female, up to 7 attempts to actually leave the abuser. And sometimes, sadly, the final attempt is via a coffin because they were murdered.
Is it does family violence differ from other types of crimes with respect to the nature of a victim and an abuser?
Absolutely. You know, with domestic issues, a lot of times a victim, they don't report to the police. A lot of times they will tell you that they're embarrassed or ashamed. You know, when they do make that report or outcry, it's very difficult to get them to want to speak out and bring it out. There's reasons, you know, they do stay. A lot of people are always like, well, why didn't they just leave? It's not so easy to just leave. It's financial, it's emotional, it's some people actually being absolutely terrified to leave. But when they do finally get that courage to speak out and to leave, it's because they've realized that they're in grave danger.
Does family violence oftentimes find its victim within a cycle of violence?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, it's a type of crime that's very fluid. It could take, years of abuse, manipulation, the psychological, that it starts off with a harsh word. You know, you break down somebody's self-esteem. You're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid, nobody else is gonna want you. And then when you get them to that point, then, you know, you may push a shove here or there, and it just continues to escalate until, like I said, sadly, we have a homicide. You know, this unit started out with just 2 detectives, then 3, now we're up to 6. Out of the entire city of Beaumont,
in our agency in particular, our unit works in most cases out of everybody. That's robbery, homicide, property, burglary, fraud. That will just tell you how much domestic violence is in our community and how the cases just are fluid and solid and every day. People you wouldn't even imagine are victims of domestic violence. 1 in 3 women in the country are victims of domestic violence.
Did you have an opportunity back in June of 2021 to become involved with the investigation of an alleged domestic incident, family violence assault that occurred on Highland Street here in Beaumont, Jefferson County, Texas, involving Ma Graciela Contreras and a Jesus Gerardo Ibarra?
Yes,
Do you see Mr. Ibarra in the courtroom here today?
yes, ma'am.
Can you please point to and identify what he's wearing?
He's the Latin male wearing a white and I think checkered shirt and a gray tie.
Here, may the record reflect that Detective Sergeant Barrero has identified the defendant, Jesus Gerardo Ibarra.
The record will so reflect.
Thank you, Judge. Going back to that incident in June of 2021, did you have an occasion to review a police report submitted by Officer Palomares?
Yes, ma'am.
And then what did you do pursuant to the investigation?
Basically, the way it works, when our patrol division goes out and they complete a report, it gets assigned to, like I said, one of the detectives that works in my unit. In this particular case, I assigned it to myself because of the language barrier. I speak Spanish. So I was able to gather photos, 911 calls, statements, and review the report, and basically submit the case to the district attorney's office saying that there was probable cause that this woman was a victim of assault, family violence.
Would it be uncommon if at the time of the dispatch, the victim and the alleged defendant were at the same location? Are they always completely separated?
No, they're not always completely separated. It would be common for them to go back to wherever, that abuser may be.
And based on your experience, when individuals are in the presence, and I'm not suggesting the presence within an arm's reach, or 2 or 3 for that matter, but at the same location, let's say both at HEB on College, or the investigation, a lot of times patrolmen are dispatched out to a neutral location like that. If both the defendant and the victim were there on site, would it be uncommon for the complainant to feel comfortable necessarily cooperating?
Uncommon?
Would be common, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they would feel, nobody likes dealing with police, but especially with domestic violence situations, there's gonna be that sense of being uncomfortable when they're speaking to officers.
So even if 2 people are separated by some proximity, do you find that there can still oftentimes be hesitation?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I was talking about earlier, I've been a cop 32 years. When I first started, you could go to a domestic violence call and there's ladies bleeding and bruises and her tell you nothing happened. And we weren't required back then to do reports, and you'd have to say, okay, nothing happened. But now we are required to look at the reports and take the reports and to try to get down to really what happened. But it still is uncommon for victims to say, especially under those circumstances around all these people, what truly happened.
Did you have an occasion to speak with Ms. Contreras yourself?
Yes.
And that was some days later, closer to the 14th of June of 21. And did she indicate to you what had happened?
Yes.
That she had been assaulted by her husband, Jesus Ibarra?
Yes.
Was she fearful of him?
Absolutely.
And did she show you at that time some text messages, which we have already tendered into evidence, that I believe you have reviewed when you put that case together in 21 and then subsequently in preparation for trial, that he was indicating to her he was sorry, I love you, I won't do it again, don't call the police, don't tell the police. they appear to be controlling her.
Yes.
Did she present, based on all of your experience with these types of crimes and these types of relationship, did she present as someone who was victimized?
Yes.
Someone who was traumatized? Someone who had been harassed?
Yes.
Someone who was in fear?
Yes.
Someone who had been hurt at the hands of the person who's supposed to love her most?
Yes.
Did you have contact with Mr. Ibarra regarding that incident?
Yes, ma'am.
And did he deny?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he blame it on her?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he say she probably got those bruises at work?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that common?
It's very common. The thing about domestic violence, it's not always about the physical abuse. It's about the controlling, whether it's financial, knowing where the person's at, tracking people now with phones or the air tags, tracking people, knowing where they're at all times. But the biggest thing you'll find with abusers is it is never, ever their fault, whether it's speaking about that or even at work, if they get disciplined at work, well, it was somebody else's fault. They never take accountability for their actions. It's always somebody else's fault for the reason they are taking the action that they're taking.
And a case was filed with the district attorney's office, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
In that matter, and Ms. Contreras, I will submit to you, has already testified about that incident. Did you have an opportunity again to meet her?
Yes.
And were you familiar? You were familiar with her?
Yes.
This wasn't the first time, obviously, that you two had spoken.
Right.
And tell the jury a little bit about how it was that she came to be at your office.
Okay, so just to kind of give you a backstory how, if it's okay, how we work our cases. So because she speaks Spanish, but even if she didn't speak Spanish, what I try to do to help our victims is if, like in her case, she filed a report, the first one, I became her detective. If God forbid she's a victim again, I'm gonna stay her detective. That way, she doesn't have to retell her story to somebody else. She gets to know who I am, I get to know who she is. So with all the detectives, they have what we call case histories. So that, again, because it's embarrassing, people are ashamed, they don't wanna have to tell their story to another complete stranger. So in this case, I'd worked the previous case, so when her name came back up through the reporting system, then she was automatically gonna come to me. So that's how I was aware of who she was.
So that was kind of twofold. Not only are you also a Spanish speaker, which would be most beneficial to her, obviously, you had dealt with her previously, and that case then became yours.
Yes, yes. So, regarding the case in June of 2021, that was coming up for the court. So, in her preparation for that case, she was, I believe, at victim's assistance doing,
Hang on 1 second. Ma'am.
Or am I jumping too far ahead?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. So she was with those they're social workers preparing for her trial. So she started receiving phone calls that were abusive, harassing, and they stopped what they were doing there to notify law enforcement. And in that case, it was investigator Guidry. So they ended up getting with Guidry, and then they bring her to Beaumont Police Department and said, hey, this is going on, we fear for her safety. Stalking is occurring. We heard things, we saw things, so that's how we came about to the December of 2023 case.
And if there was some interim time period from when they revealed that information and Sadie Guidry was able to make contact with her,
Right.
could it have been that Sadie didn't meet her at the Victims Assistance Unit,
Right.
but rather at her home.
Right. She went out to her to check her welfare.
And does that make sense with the fact that she had tried to contact Ms. Contreras several times, was unable to reach her? She was not still at Victims Assistance.
Right.
She had gone home,
Right.
and so Ms. Guidry made contact with her there.
Right.
She then brought her here to the office. Some more conversation were had, and they felt it very necessary for her to come to you.
Yes.
And that's how she came to be at your office on December 5th,
Correct.
2023. How did she appear to you? What was her demeanor?
She was very frazzled. You could tell she was upset. She was fearful. And basically, when she came in, you know, she was sleepy, tired. She intimated that she hadn't been getting sleep. You know, she's worried about her safety. Trying to get everything in order and trying to figure out what exactly was going on was kind of difficult. You know, it's felt, yes, I speak Spanish, but, you know, trying to get the right answers and have it translate correctly into English could be difficult at times. So it was a lot to sort through that I was trying to get down to, okay, what do we really have here? Is this harassment? Is this stalking? What do we really have here? And after speaking to her and her being able to present me some audio recordings and just listening to her statement, I was like, yeah, we definitely have a stalking type situation.
So just describe for the jury, what is the difference between harassment and stalking? What makes harassment rise to the level of the stalking?
Well, you know, harassment is, you know, somebody calling you multiple times, whether they're actually speaking to you, you're hanging up, or, you know, like when you're a kid, you called and breathing on the phone at me, or you're cussing somebody out, those types of things where it's annoying, alarming, that type of thing. When you jump up into stalking, it's a repetitive pattern of harassment, but what crosses over and makes it more serious is when there's that threat of bodily injury or death. You know, or threats to somebody's property, like say, like burning somebody's house down or throwing a Molotov cocktail or something like that. When there's serious bodily injury or death that may occur, that's how we get to the stalking portion of it.
And stalking, in and of itself, incorporates that these threats have come on numerous occasions.
Yes.
This is a pattern behavior.
Correct. Specifically, more than 2 occasions.
Or specifically two or more.
Yes.
Okay. And it's easy to get those inverted, but
Yes.
on multiple occasions, 2 or more,
Yes.
that someone has been placed in fear of bodily injury or death at the hands of someone stalking.
Yes.
And it also incorporates the factors of harassment that person has also, throughout dependency, felt harassed, annoyed, alarmed, tormented, embarrassed. They go hand in hand with one another.
Yes.
So describe for the jury a little bit about your conversation with Ms. Contreras, and what impressions did you receive as a sergeant with a lot of experience in family violence?
Well, the first thing is that, I mean, you know, it's really difficult for any of us, but I just remember when she left there, I was depleted because I was like, I felt so bad for her because, you know, she was terribly terrified. She wasn't sleeping, worried about her children. And at one point, you could just tell, just was defeated because she's like, you know what? If something happens to me, y'all know who did it. It just completely just defeated.
And I want to get to more of that in a minute, but was she there talking about her relationship with Jesus Ibarra?
Yes.
The same individual who you've identified in court?
Yes,
correct? And the same individual that was involved in the June 21 incident?
Yes.
Did she indicate to you that all of these things were coming at his hand, so to speak?
Yes,
Were they all, or did she indicate that there were multiple threats?
Yes.
Did she indicate to you that he had been persistently harassing her, annoying her, alarming her driving by her home, showing up unannounced to work, calling and keeping her on the phone at all hours. Did she indicate to you that she would communicate back with him
Yes,
in an attempt to pacify him,
yes,
to calm him, maybe to get him to not carry out the threats that he had been making?
correct.
Explain that in the context of family violence.
Yeah, and, a lot of the, domestic violence victims, they learn how to survive, basically. And, they learn the signs of when somebody's gonna really go off. So they try to placate that person, whether it's, like in her case, she had blocked him at some point over the course of their time. But when he realized that she was blocking him, then it was, you unblock me, unblock me, unblock me. And otherwise, I'm gonna show up at your house. So she ends up unblocking you. Just trying to pacify and basically live day to day without, that anxiety of he's gonna show up at my door, he's gonna show up at work. So I better talk to him. I had to talk to him here and there so that, it's not, that he does it come forth around me.
Would it be uncommon for a victim who had been harassed, terrorized, stalked repeatedly to keep in contact with their abuser? Would that be uncommon?
No, ma'am, it's not uncommon. Like I said, they're trying to survive, and if they have to talk to that person for a few minutes or what have you, or stay on the phone, they'll do it because, they know what the alternative is because they've seen it and they've felt it before.
And so, although it may, to the naked eye, look extremely out of the ordinary, if this individual has done all the things that she alleged that he did, and made all the threats that she stated that he made, both verbally, by sending communications, just his overall totality of his treatment of her. Again, to the layperson, it may look as like, what is going on here? Are these people just having an argument? He said, she said, and she's making it up. Is that how we should look at it?
Oh, absolutely not. Like I said, it's complex, it's fluid, it's not easy to walk away. She made the effort, she did carry out the divorce, but that never stopped the communication.
So if we see communications, text messages, calls back and forth between them,
Right.
did that surprise you?
No, not at all.
In fact, did you see those messages?
Yes.
Where in which she was trying to be sweet to him, for lack of a better term, at some point? And also at some point she was extremely frustrated.
Yes.
Calling him a pig, calling him a psycho.
Yes. Leave me alone. Yes.
Does it rise to that level? Do victims have the right to be frustrated with their abuser?
Absolutely.
Do they have the right to call him names?
Yes.
If he was insulting her as a woman and terrorizing her and harassing her and threatening her and she felt in fear, did she have the right at times to try to pacify him and keep him calm?
Yes.
Did she have the right at times to be frustrated and to call him names?
Yes.
And to call him out on it?
Yes.
Does the fact that the two remained in communication, and it could be viewed as an awful lot of communication, does that necessarily mean that what she stated about the threats and her fears is untrue?
Absolutely not. Like I said, there have been victims, whether they're male or female, that have actual protective orders, and they will still communicate with that abuser because, they feel compelled to do so because that control and manipulation is so much that that's what they do. So it's not uncommon for her to stay in contact, or whether it's her or anybody else.
So when she indicated to you, or did she indicate to you that it was her now ex-husband, Jesus Ibarra, that was stalking and terrorizing her? How, because you guys didn't have so much of the language barrier, how did she describe that to you? And it may be repetitive of things we've already said, but what all did she tell you was going on?
That that he would send text, if she didn't answer phone, just call constantly, show up at her job, send stuff through instant messenger, things like that nature. Just, you know, she had audio recordings of some of the calls that he had made, which were just screaming and hollering at her, demanding things. One was, I believe, one of the calls was in November, and then one of the calls was on December 5th, I believe. And you don't have to understand English if you get an opportunity to, or understand Spanish, if you hear the opportunity to hear the anger and the cursing and all that that's directed towards her, and you hear her say, okay, or this, that, and other. It's just, I mean, there's no doubt what was going on when you hear it, if you have the opportunity to hear it.
And the jury has heard it, Sergeant Barrero, and you heard it,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Was there any doubt in your mind that that was a manipulative type of conversation?
No doubt.
That it was argumentative
Right.
and heightened?
Right.
She was just trying to pacify the situation.
Yes.
And to pacify
Yes,
him.
he's cussing at her, calling her names, even makes reference to, I believe, her mother at one point, just all kinds of things.
And you stated that she played for you a conversation that was recorded, I believe, in November, you said?
Yes.
Was it between herself, Ms. Contreras, and the defendant, Jesus
Yes,
Ibarra?
ma'am.
And did you listen to it?
I did, she played it while she was sitting there. As I was typing, I could hear what he was saying, same type of thing. You know, block me, unblock me, that kind of thing.
Did you get the impression she was being harassed?
Yes.
Did you get the impression she was being threatened?
Yes.
That he had threatened her
Yes.
on multiple occasions?
Yes.
Did you all, pursuant to the investigation, try to record that or have it sent through your communication channel?
Yes, ma'am. Our agency uses a computer program called Axon. We have it on our phones and our computers, so while I'm speaking to her and she's playing things or telling me about the text, I'm sending her the link so that it basically cuts out the middleman. I'll send her a link, she attaches the phone calls and the text messages, and it goes straight into like an evidence queue. So I was doing that while I was taking her statement. So they would go straight into the evidence queue.
And as great as Axon is, did you discover that there was a problem?
Yes, I did discover there was a problem when we were putting together the case that you could hear me on one of the things, you could hear my email ding saying, oh, I got it. Apparently, somewhere down the road, the November call, you could hear it on the video, but it didn't attach to the computer, if that makes sense. I'm not a technical person, I'm Gen X, so I don't get all the technical stuff, but we have the recording, it's just while she's sitting there, it did not attach to, for whatever reason, and I couldn't tell you about this, like I said, don't do computers.
Which is why the jury hasn't heard it.
Right.
But you overheard it.
Yes.
And you, based on your familiarity with Spanish, can you kind of, again, relay, what was the context, what was the demeanor?
Your Honor, approach.
Sure.
And can you describe the nature of those?
If you're talking about,
Well, let me go one by
there's so
one.
much.
There was a lot.
yes, right, and I don't wanna get wrong, cause I don't remember, but
But there was a lot.
yes.
And pursuant to the totality of that investigation, did you gather information kind of at different levels, so to speak?
Yes. Like
An investigator is not gonna just, like family violence doesn't happen in a vacuum, you don't investigate in a vacuum.
Right.
The totality of your investigation would not simply be, the conversation that you had in Spanish with her, but it would be gathering other information.
Correct.
And trying to recover the information that you could in physical form with respect to like photographs,
Yes.
recordings, things of that nature. But a lot of times, do you not have that kind of evidence? Or a lot of times, there is no
A lot of times,
ability to recover a photo or a recording.
Like sometimes, and I know everybody's heard, like instant messenger and Snapchat, sometimes, things were sent via that way, we can't recover them. So if they get erased, like Snapchat, it goes away, or instant messenger goes away, or when somebody changes their phone, it goes away. So, just because it went away doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right, and that's where I was going with that. Did you learn, pursuant to that investigation, that at a point in time, Mr. Ibarra had sent her a photograph electronically of a gun and bullets?
Yes, ma'am.
Did she indicate that made her fearful?
Yes, ma'am.
At a time subsequent to the sending of that photo, did he make, well, not only subsequently, let's just say on the full continuum, did you learn that he had made numerous threats against her?
Yes.
And had he made those threats on numerous occasions?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you believe you were investigating an isolated incident?
No.
Something that may have just happened the evening before and only the evening before?
No, ma'am. It had gone back days, even, months. I believe there was another police report in March of 2023 involving them. So no, like I said, especially with these types of cases, it's a buildup of things, multiple things, fluid things that take place.
And did you learn that on numerous occasions, not merely one occasion, that Mr. Ibarra had threatened to burn her house down?
Yes.
Threatened to kill her or her children if they were in the home?
Correct.
On more than one occasion did he make that threat to her?
Correct. Yes, ma'am. That's what she expressed to me.
Had he on more than one occasion threatened to blow her head off?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me your reaction to a term like, I'm gonna blow your head off.
Well, I take it very seriously, and I would think anybody that, if somebody was telling that, takes it seriously. In the police world and in the line of work that I do, there are certain things that, when you're working domestic violence, where you realize, okay, this person.
Object to narrative.
Sustained. Just break it down, please.
I'm sorry, Ms. Tanner, may I go back and just, I need to get my last question so that I can do that.
Yes, ma'am.
The very last question, Ms. Martinez? Pardon me? The last one before her last answer?
Yes.
All right. What does, tell me your reaction to a term like, I'm gonna blow your head off?
It'd be very scary, very frightful for anybody to hear those words.
Okay. There's something about those words, right?
Right.
That make them more impactful.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when the person has the means and capability to carry that out because they have a firearm.
And did she know?
Absolutely.
Had she indicated that on numerous occasions she'd seen him with a firearm?
Yes.
That he had sent her that picture of the gun and bullets?
Yes.
And again, you stated, just because she was unable to recover it, or it was deleted. Does it mean that didn't happen?
Absolutely not.
Did that mean she's just making it up?
No, ma'am.
Did you believe her to be credible in what she was expressing to you?
Yes, ma'am. Everything she had told me from any time I dealt with her, I believed her. I could see it in her eyes that she was being truthful.
Let's talk about the reasonableness of that again. Threatening to blow someone's head off on numerous occasions, more than once, different dates and times. Would you believe that would cause a reasonable person to fear?
I would hope so. I think so. I know it caused me to fear that.
If you believed, based on your experience, a victim did, that they were more than capable of following that out, would that even heighten your anxiety and fear even more?
Absolutely.
And would that cause a reasonable person to fear?
I believe so, yes, ma'am.
To fear bodily injury and even death? want to take that a step further. Did she indicate to you that at a time different from when the picture was received, that she actually, the night before being there at your office, saw in person a gun and bullets?
Yes, ma'am.
At his apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Had he called her to his apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
She didn't voluntarily go over there. Had he gotten her there?
Yes.
And did he show her that?
Yes.
Did she indicate she took a quick picture?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm objective leading.
Sustained.
And she had that,
Yes.
that she was able to produce to you. Would showing someone physically a weapon, in your experience, and bullets lend to their ability to carry out the threats that they have made?
Yes. You know, you have the intimidation factor and then the factor of they could clearly carry it out because they have the means. And it'd be different if I'm standing up here with nothing and I say, I'm gonna do this or do that. I don't have the means to do it.
Your Honor, narrative.
That's of a role on that.
Let's talk about arson. Is arson a felony in the state of Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
What is arson?
Intentionally setting fire to whether it's a building or a home or anything, dumpster, whatever, intentionally setting fire.
Intentionally causing a fire
Yes.
that could potentially cause bodily injury or
Or
death.
death, yes.
If someone threatened to burn your house down, isn't our home one of our safeguards,
Yes, ma'am.
one of our prized possessions where we're supposed to feel safe from the craziness of this world?
Yes.
Someone who you have been experiencing this torment and torture and harassment with threatened multiple times to burn your house down, would that cause you to fear?
Yes,
Do you believe that will cause any reasonable person to fear?
I do.
And to fear bodily injury or death?
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of people don't escape a house fire, do they?
No, they do not, and I can tell you, you do not want to see a burn victim. It's one, like I said, I've been a cop a long time, and I've been on a lot of death scenes. Burning victims are one of the worst ever. Visually and all your senses, you'll never get that smell out of it's just terrible. I'll leave it at that.
And were these threats made to her
Yes, ma'am.
to burn her house down
Yes, ma'am.
on multiple occasions?
Your Honor, asked, answered.
Sustained.
And do you believe she was in fear of that?
I do.
Should people know what the power of their words can be? I'm gonna get the saying wrong, but what is it? The tongue is tougher than the sword.
Yes.
If you state to somebody, if an individual states to somebody, again, who's in this type of ongoing abusive relationship, I'm gonna burn your house down, I'm gonna blow your head off, a number of times, would a reasonable person find those things to cause fear?
Yes.
Would a reasonable person think that they were in fear of bodily injury and even death?
Yes, ma'am.
That their property was in fear, even though it doesn't have an emotion, that there was danger to their property
Yes.
and therefore their well-being?
Yes.
Based on your interaction with Ms. Contreras, was she fearful in your mind that these things were going to be carried out?
Yes, ma'am.
at the hands of Jesus Ibarra.
Yes,
Did she indicate that any of this was an accident? Or that he knew exactly what he was doing? And it was just a continuation of the pattern that had developed between them? Were all of his threats and actions directed at her
yes, and her children.
and your children? And in your investigation, did you believe and determine them to be all in a pursuant scheme and course of conduct?
Yes, ma'am.
It was something that continued
Yes, ma'am.
multiple times, multiple months, multiple days, multiple threats. I'm gonna kind of end with something that you said a little bit earlier. And it goes to the aspect of what kind of state of mind she was in, what she was fearful of, what level she believed that it rose to. Did you determine her to be in serious fear of bodily injury and death?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you mean when you said she at some point seemed to be just resigned to it as her fate?
Yes, ma'am. Again, this speaks to training and experience. There comes a point where victims, whether they're male or female, they've lived that cycle of violence for so long that they just resign themselves to, this is my lot in life, and if that person kills me, they kill me, I'll be done. That, you know, they just are so beat down physically and emotionally that they're just exasperated. They don't know what else to do. And it's like, whatever happens to me, happens to me. And I saw that laid out in front of me in my office. So yes, she was defeated for sure.
Were you afraid for her?
Absolutely.
And are you still?
Oh, yes. You know, the most dangerous time for an abusive person is when they're making that break. There's documentation and research to show that with domestic violence, when they're making that final break, it's because they're breaking the control, is most dangerous for the victim.
And sometimes that final break even comes by the way of a blessing, doesn't it?
Yes.
If she couldn't make the final break on her own, but you all happened to become involved with just the domino effect of things that happened to try to get to her.
To let her know that she no longer had to suffer in silence, that, you know, that yes, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be a difficult road, and it takes a long time, but she did have support, and we were trying to help her.
And it gave her a safe space to talk to you
Yes.
and to let you know what had been happening
Yes.
and how scared she was
Yes.
and how much he had threatened her.
Yes.
And your conversation with her was on late in the day of December 5th of 2023, correct?
Yes. I don't remember the exact time, but.
Okay. And silly question, would you agree with me that that is all on or about December 6th
Yes.
of 2023? And obviously well before December 13th of 2023. And do we have on or about laws? Because as with sometimes children who are abused or things of that nature, people don't know the exact date of when things happen, right?
Right.
So the law allows for on or about a specific date. Sometimes it's arbitrary what we pick, right? Like December 6th. Things happened before that, correct?
Yes.
But it was on or about that date,
Yes.
because it had been continuous. Did you believe, based on all of your experience, your training, and experience and knowledge, believe that she was the victim of stalking?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you bring a stalking charge?
Yes, ma'am.
And again, just very briefly for the jury, what makes something rise to the level of stalking, and why was it that you, as a detective sergeant in family violence, felt that all of the information you were hearing from her in the context of the totality of that investigation led to stalking?
Your Honor, we've already addressed, I'd say asked, answered on this.
Sustained.
For the reasons you stated?
Yes,
before?
ma'am.
There's reasons things escalate,
Yes,
and there's reasons the charges become different.
correct.
And very lastly, Detective Sergeant Barrero, have you found in your many investigations and years of family violence that sometimes it's the duty of others to protect those that can't or won't protect themselves?
Yes, ma'am.
That's the reason.
Thank you, Ms. Malfino. All right, so it's noon, so we'll go ahead and take a lunch break, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to try to get started at, let's get started at 1:30. Please keep in mind all the instructions that you were previously given. If everyone else would please remain seated, you are excused until 1:30. All right, let the record reflect the jury's outside the presence of the courtroom. Anything we need to take up before we break for lunch? Ms. Malfino?
Not that I'm aware of, Judge.
Mr. Jeffries?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll see y'all back. If you guys can get back a little early, maybe we can just start talking about the charge of 1:15-ish or so. We'll at least start that process. Okay, thanks. Okay, let the record reflect state's attorneys present, defendant and defense counsel are present. Anything we need to take up before we bring the jury in, Ms. Malfino?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Jeffries?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you can bring the jury in. Investigator, would you go ahead and get Detective Saburo for us? You missing something? It's okay.
I can believe it.
right, let the record reflect the jury seated, state's attorney's present, defendant and defense counsel are present. Mr. Jeffries, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hello.
Situation.
Kind of. Sorry. Let's do my phone.
You first came into contact with Ms. Contreras in June of 2021?
I think a little before that, but specifically for that report, yes.
Okay. Have you had, or at least was it an option to have an open line of communication between you and her from that point to now?
Yeah, anytime we have a case with somebody, they have our number and they can contact us if they need to or have questions or something like that.
Okay. And when you have these interactions with complainants, people making these accusations, it's commonplace that you write a report on it.
Yes.
And those reports contain important details.
Yes.
And by important details, you're not going to list the weather unless it's super relevant to the charge.
Right.
Right? You're not going to put what you had for lunch on that day.
Right.
But details that help determine the validity of this offense that's being described to you, right?
Right.
And we do that because with time, memory gets a little weird, right?
Right.
And you never know when one of those situations are going to turn into a situation like this, where we're a couple years removed and we're trying to remember those details.
Right.
So we go back to the report
Right.
for clarity, correct? And you provided one of those reports in this situation.
Right.
For specifically for the December 5th conversation that you had.
Right.
And are you familiar with that report? Do you have it with you?
I don't have it with me.
Okay, well, based off that report, you provided the probable cause affidavit for this charge, correct?
Yes.
And it was in large part due to that conversation that you had on December the 5th.
Yes.
And my approaching.
Sure.
We'll highlight it, you can look at that or not.
Do you recognize that as the probable cause affidavit that you filled out
Yes.
and turned over for these charges?
Yes.
Could, hold on. Could you describe what was said about a gun, about him having a gun?
Was that the highlighted part? Or?
It should be.
Yes.
Does anything about that statement say he sent her an electronic image of a gun?
No, sir, it does not.
And in large part, all these charges are built, the foundation of them are through testimony and reports from Ms. Contreras. You would agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as a sergeant, an investigator,
Yes.
correct? You have the power to subpoena. You have the
You want to drop it?
no. You have the ability to ask for additional information.
Yes.
You can, as mentioned, you can file a subpoena and have it legally required to give to you.
Yes.
You can ask for a search warrant.
Yes.
And search warrant could be from anything from an apartment,
Yes.
a cell phone, a car, anything like that, right? But we didn't do any search warrants in this case, is that
No, sir,
accurate?
we do not.
So we didn't go and search his apartment and look for a gun.
Right.
We didn't subpoena cell phones to collect data off of there, right? Let's just talk for a moment about what could or possibly could be obtained off of a cell phone. There's a term that's commonly used called the phone dump. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Could you elaborate exactly what a phone dump is?
Well, again, I'm not the technical person, and our agency has specific officers that are trained to deal with that. There are like multiple instruments used to obtain that. So me personally, I'm not trying to do it, but what they do is they take the phone, they hook it up to some kind of computer program, and it tries to extract the information.
Fair enough.
So,
and by information, we could get text messages that were sent and received.
theoretically, yes, because sometimes that does not work.
We could get a detailed call log of calls that were made incoming.
Yes.
In many situations, we can get GPS information.
Yes. If they know what they're looking for and specifically have the program to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And Jefferson County does, but
I'm not sure about the county, but our agency has a
Beaumont PD
a
does.
technical person that does things like that.
Okay, but in this case, we decided we didn't need to do anything.
No, sir. I heard him myself, heard the accusation, or heard his voice and heard the vitriol myself and heard it.
And by vitriol, you mean he had an aggravated tone?
Yes, aggravated.
He had an aggravated tone,
Yes.
and he wasn't speaking kindly.
No.
Right, but you yourself didn't actually hear a threat, of physical harm.
Not in the phone calls.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. Anything else, Ms. Malfino?
I don't have anything further, Judge. Thank you.
All right, any objection to Detective Sergeant Burrow being excused?
Objection.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, you may call your next witness.
Sir, at this time, say effective arrest.
All right, thank you, Ms. Malfino. And Mr. Jeffries, is the defense ready to proceed, or do you need a few minutes?
We'd ask for a few minutes just to address a few things with the court.
Okay, so let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a 15, well, let's do this. Let's take a 20-minute break, and that way, at the appropriate time, we hopefully will not have to take another break. I will be able to go straight into that court's charge and the closing argument, but I'll give the attorney some time, depending on what happens with Mr. Jeffries' case. All right, so it's 2 o'clock. We'll get started at 2:20. Please keep in mind all the instructions you were previously given. If everyone else would please remain seated, you're excused for 20 minutes. All right, let the record reflect the jury's outside the presence of the courtroom. Mr. Jeffries, did you need to visit with your client, or do you have something you need to put on the record at this point?
If I could visit with him for 5
Absolutely,
minutes.
sure. All right, we'll take a short break. State's attorney's present, defendant, defense counsel are present. Mr. Jeffries, anything you need to put on the record before we get started again?
Yes, Your Honor. First, I'd like to make a motion for a directed verdict. I feel like the state's fallen short of their burden to prove this charge beyond reasonable doubt. Their case is built off of the testimony of Ms. Contreras, which was impeached, and we believe that a reasonable juror would not be able to find him guilty.
All right, that's denied or overruled, that motion is. I think there's enough evidence to go to the jury on that question. Anything else?
Can I address Mr. Ibarra just on the sole purpose of the understanding of him
Absolutely.
testifying.
Mr. Ibarra, if you'll just stand up where you are and just speak loudly and clearly so that the court reporter can hear you. She can't really see your face from there, so just make sure you speak loudly and clearly. Go ahead.
Mr. Ibarra, we have talked at length about the option of you testifying here today. Is that correct? And we've addressed the pros and cons of you taking the stand. Yes. And you understand that taking the stand would open you up to a cross-examination of a skilled prosecutor and possibly allow in information that has sent or that has until now been kept out.
I understand.
And your decision, made freely and knowingly, along with my counsel, is that you not take the stand.
Correct.
And so you're, for the record, choosing not to take the stand in this case.
I'm choosing not to.
All right. Thank you. Anything else then before we bring the jury back in?
No, Your Honor.
And do you anticipate any witnesses?
No.
So you've both been given a copy of the court's proposed charge. We've kind of gone over some things together that we've agreed need to be changed. You both had a couple of requests that I did not do, but is there anything at this time formally on the record, any requested additions, objections, or corrections to the charge from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Jeffries.
No, Your Honor.
All right. How long would either of you request for closing?
Probably not more than 15 minutes for me.
I'm
Okay.
gonna say 10, 15.
Okay.
right around there.
That sounds fine. All right. You can bring the jury in. All right, let the record reflect the jury is seated, state's attorney's present, defendant and defense counsel are present. Mr. Jeffries, at this time, does the defense have any witnesses?
Defense rests.
All right, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what that means is that you've heard all the evidence in the case, and the next thing is for me to read the court's charge. I am required to read it in full to you, and then you'll hear closing argument by counsel. Cause number 23, DCCR 2253, the State of Texas versus Jesus Gerardo Ibarra. Jury instructions. Members of the jury, the defendant, Jesus Gerardo Ibarra, stands charged by indictment with the offense of stalking. The defendant has pleaded not guilty, and you have heard all the evidence. The parties will soon present final arguments. Before they do so, I must now give you the instructions you must follow in deciding whether or not the state has proven the defendant guilty. You will have a written copy of these instructions to take with you and to use during your deliberations. I will first tell you about some general principles that apply in all criminal cases. Then I will tell you about the specific law applicable to this case. Finally, I will instruct you on the rules that must control your deliberations. General principles. The indictment is not evidence of guilt. The indictment is a document required to bring the case before you. Do not consider the fact that the defendant has been arrested, confined, or indicted, or otherwise charged. Do not draw any inference of guilt from any of these circumstances. The defendant is presumed innocent of the charge. All persons are presumed to be innocent, and no person may be convicted of an offense unless the state proves each element of the offense beyond a reasonable doubt. The law does not require a defendant to prove his innocence or produce any evidence at all. The presumption of innocence alone is sufficient for you to return a verdict of not guilty. You may find the defendant guilty only after careful and impartial consideration of all of the evidence, and only if the state has proved the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The state has the burden to prove every element of the offense beyond a reasonable doubt. If the state proves every element of the offense beyond a reasonable doubt, then you must find the defendant guilty. If it does not, then you must find the defendant not guilty. If, after you have considered all the evidence and these instructions, you have a reasonable doubt about whether the defendant is guilty, you must find the defendant not guilty. As the jurors, you review the evidence and determine the facts and what they prove. You judge the believability of the witnesses and what weight to give their testimony. In judging the facts and the believability of the witnesses, you must apply the law provided in these instructions. The evidence consists of the testimony and exhibits admitted in the trial. You must consider only evidence to reach your decision. You must not consider, discuss, or mention any other thing that is not evidence in the trial. You must not consider or mention any personal knowledge or information you may have about any fact or person connected with this case that is not evidence in the trial. Statements made by the lawyers are not evidence. The questions asked by the lawyers are not evidence. Nothing I have said or done in this case should be considered by you as my opinion about the facts of this case or influence you to vote one way or the other. You should give terms their common meanings, unless you have been told in these instructions that the terms are given special meanings. In that case, of course, you should give those terms the meanings provided in the instructions. While you should consider only the evidence, you are permitted to draw reasonable inferences from the testimony and exhibits if those inferences are justified in the light of common experience. In other words, you may make deductions and reach conclusions that reason and common sense lead you to draw from the evidence. You are to render a fair and impartial verdict based on the evidence admitted in the case under the law that is in these instructions. Do not allow your verdict to be determined by bias or prejudice. You may, if you wish, examine exhibits. If you wish to examine an exhibit, the foreperson will inform the court and specifically identify the exhibit you wish to examine. Only exhibits that were admitted into evidence may be given to you for examination. Certain testimony will be read back to you by the court reporter if you request. To request that testimony be read back to you, you must follow these rules. The foreperson must make the request in writing and sign it. That request must, 1, state that it is requesting that testimony be read back. 2, state that you have a disagreement about a specific statement of a witness or a particular point in dispute. And 3, identify the name of the witness who made the statement. The court will then have the court reporter read back only that part of the statement that is in dispute. During the trial, you heard evidence that the defendant may have committed wrongful acts not charged in the indictment. The state offered the evidence to show that the defendant had intent and motive. You are not to consider that evidence at all unless you find, beyond a reasonable doubt, that the defendant did, in fact, commit the wrongful act. Those of you who believe the defendant did the wrongful act may consider it. Even if you do find that the defendant committed a wrongful act, you may consider this evidence only for the limited purpose I've described. You may not consider this evidence to prove that the defendant is a bad person and for this reason was likely to commit the charged offense. In other words, you should consider this evidence only for the specific limited purpose I have described. To consider this evidence for any other purpose would be improper. The law requires that you render a verdict of either guilty or not guilty. The verdict of not guilty simply means that the state has not proved the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You may return a verdict only if all 12 of you agree on this verdict. When you reach a verdict, the foreperson should notify the court. The defendant has a constitutional right to remain silent. The defendant may testify on his own behalf. The defendant may also choose not to testify. The defendant's decision not to testify cannot be held against him, and it is not evidence of guilt. You must not speculate, guess, or even talk about what the defendant might have said if he had taken the witness stand or why he did not. The foreperson of the jury must immediately stop any juror from mentioning the defendant's decision not to testify. Rules that control deliberations. You must follow these rules while you are deliberating and until you reach a verdict. After the closing arguments by the attorneys, you will go into the jury room. Your first task will be to select your foreperson. The foreperson should conduct deliberations in an orderly way. Each juror has one vote, including the foreperson. The foreperson must supervise the voting, vote with other jurors on the verdict, and sign the verdict sheet. While deliberating and until excused by the trial court, all jurors must follow these rules. 1. You must not discuss this case with any court officer or the attorneys or anyone not on the jury. 2. You must not discuss this case unless all of you are present in the jury room. If anyone leaves the room, then you must stop your discussions about the case until all of you are present again. 3. You must communicate with the judge only in writing, signed by the foreperson, and given to the judge through the officer assigned to you. 4. You must not conduct any independent investigations, research, or experiments. 5. You must tell the judge if anyone attempts to contact you about the case before you reach your verdict. Your sole duty at this point is to determine whether the state has proved the defendant guilty. You must restrict your deliberations to this matter. After you have arrived at your verdict, you are to use the form attached to these instructions. The foreperson should sign the line that corresponds to your verdict. After the closing arguments by the attorneys, you will begin your deliberations to decide your verdict. Law specific to this case. The state accuses the defendant of having committed the offense of stalking. Relevant statutes. A person commits the offense of stalking if the person, on more than one occasion and pursuant to the same scheme or course of conduct that is directed specifically at another person, knowingly engages in conduct that 1. The person knows or reasonably should know the other person will regard as threatening A. bodily injury or death for the other person, or B. bodily injury or death for a member of the other person's family or household, or for an individual with whom the other person has a dating relationship, or C. that an offense will be committed against the other person's property, and 2. causes the other person, a member of the other person's family or household, or an individual with whom the other person has a dating relationship to be placed in fear of bodily injury or death, or in fear that an offense will be committed against the other person's property, or to feel harassed, annoyed, alarmed, abused, tormented, embarrassed, or offended, and 3, would cause a reasonable person to A. fear bodily injury or death for himself, B. fear bodily injury or death for a member of the person's family or household, or for an individual with whom the person has a dating relationship, C. fear that an offense will be committed against the person's property, or D. feel harassed, annoyed, alarmed, abused, tormented, embarrassed, or offended. Definitions. A person acts knowingly or with knowledge with respect to a result of his conduct when he is aware that his conduct is reasonably certain to cause the result. The indictment alleges that the offense was committed on or about December 6, 2023. The state is not required to prove that the alleged offense happened on that exact date. It is sufficient if the state proves that the elements of the offense were committed before December 13, 2023, the date the indictment was filed. Application of law to facts. You must determine whether the state has proved beyond a reasonable doubt 4 elements. The elements are that, number 1, the defendant, Jesus Gerardo Ibarra, in Jefferson County, Texas, on or about December 6, 2023, on more than one occasion, knowingly engaged in conduct, specifically A, the defendant threatened the complainant to commit a felony, namely arson, against Ma Graciela Contreras' property. B, the defendant threatened to blow Ma Graciela Contreras' head off. And C, the defendant threatened bodily injury to Ma Graciela Contreras, namely sending electronic images of a firearm and bullets. 2, the conduct was pursuant to the same scheme or course of conduct. 3, the scheme or course of conduct was directed specifically at Ma Graciela Contreras, another person. And 4, the conduct on each occasion, A, was conduct the defendant knew or reasonably should have known that Ma Graciela Contreras would regard as threatening bodily injury or death upon Ma Graciela Contreras, or place Ma Graciela Contreras in fear that an offense would be committed against her property, and it was conduct that would cause a reasonable person to fear bodily injury or death, and or fear that an offense would be committed against their property. And B, was conduct the defendant knew or reasonably should have known would have caused Ma Graciela Contreras to feel harassed, terrified, intimidated, annoyed, alarmed, abused, tormented, embarrassed, or offended, and was conduct that would cause a reasonable person to feel harassed, terrified, intimidated, annoyed, alarmed, abused, tormented, embarrassed, or offended. You must all agree on elements 1 through 4 listed above. You need not agree on whether the state has proved 1A, 1B, or 1C, but you all must agree that the state has proved the defendant engaged in conduct meeting the descriptions on more than one occasion. If you all agree the state has failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt one or more of elements 1 through 4 listed above, you must find the defendant not guilty. If you all agree the state has proved beyond a reasonable doubt each of the 4 elements listed above, you must find the defendant guilty. And then that has my signature on it, and then there's the verdict form. It reads, the top is verdict, not guilty. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jesus Gerardo Ibarra, not guilty. And then there's a line for the signature and the printed name of the foreperson. And then under that is verdict, guilty. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jesus Gerardo Ibarra, guilty of stalking as charged in the indictment. And then there's a line for the signature and the printed name. And if you will give me just 1 minute, because I think I might have one thing I need to change. Can y'all come up for a second, please? So when I read it out loud, the relevant statutes and then the application, I think Ms. Alfino might have been right that it should have been or on the
That's the way it reads in the statute.
it reads it in the statute or. On 4A, I think that should be or instead of and, because when you look at, let me read it again. So look at number 2 on page 4. So it goes through that first part, number 2, causes the individual to be in fear, blah, 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 or in fear that offense will be committed. And then it goes to the top, the next page, it says, or to feel those things. Does that make sense? Okay, any objection to me changing that to an or? I am just going to kind of say it out loud, and I'm going to leave it marked so they can see that it is one or the other. Okay, thanks. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to make a notation on here, and you'll see it. I do encourage you when you get back into the jury room to kind of read through this again. At the very end, it's actually on page 6, which is the last page. I read number 4, and it was the conduct on each occasion, and then there was an A and a B. And I said and at the end of A to make it seem like you needed to find A and B. In fact, it should be or. It's one or the other. Okay, so I'm going to make that notation just so you'll also see it in my handwriting so that you don't get confused on that. All right, and so the state has the right to open and close closing arguments, Ms. Malfino.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court.
Yes, ma'am.